I wanted to make this like spontaneous video because I saw a Reddit discussion right before my internet cut out. And essentially it was about the rumbling in Attack on Titan and whenever or not it ever could be moral. And there was this one user that said that deviating from the time loop could cause space-time fragmentation, which would kill everyone and end the universe, which essentially, therefore the rumbling is moral. And somebody else said, no, it would just time paradox him, like Eren in particular. And then he goes on to argue that, you know, if Eren deviated from the future, then he would like get deleted by the universe or something. And I thought it was kind of amusing because nothing like this is established in Attack on Titan. And nothing like this is logically true for reality. So it's just kind of something that two people made up with like a lot of confidence, and I thought it was kind of amusing. But it is definitely true that a lot of people do not understand how time works in Attack on Titan. And I think it is like very clear that, and very intentional, that the universe of Attack on Titan is deterministic. And I'm a huge sucker for determinism and determinism in Attack on Titan, so much so that I wrote about it for a university task. And I have this Google Doc that is 26 pages long, just yapping about determinism in Attack on Titan, and it's beautiful. And now I wanted to share this with you. I wanted to share a little bit, like, what is determinism? Like, what is the idea? Because it's not just something that is very intentionally in Attack on Titan. It is something that is, I think, very compelling for reality and most likely true in reality. So, the core idea behind determinism is that given the present conditions, there is only one possible future that can be achieved. Because it is the logical result. In the sense that if you roll dice, for example, there is no true randomness to the dice. You impart a physical motion on the dice, and because of that they will like fly and clinker and clanker and come to a certain result. And it appears random to us because we cannot predict the outcome, but it is not truly random. Like, let's say you throw a dice, and then you could, like, make a safe state in reality. And then you could load back to that portion in time and observe the result, like, as many times as you want. The result would be the exact same every time, because the result of the dice throw was determined the moment you let go of the dice. Like, all the energy and all the forces that impact the dice are impacted at that point, and then like whatever the result is whatever the result will be. How did I put it in this paper? Many stories often have like fate or destiny determine the end result of something, in which like people can like try to change it, but like there's a higher force that forces it back to what it is. But determinism argues that it's simply logically true that there is only one future that can be achieved. In the sense that, like, it's a bit of a dumb example, but if you're hungry and you have the option to eat, like, do we want to predict the future? What is going to happen? You're gonna eat. Like, of course, there may be conditions that we don't know of. Like, maybe you're on a diet and that's why you decide not to eat. But, like, fundamentally, the future is the direct result of the present. And with that, it is the direct result of the desire of the people in the present. And the present is the direct result of the past. And it's just turtled all the way down from here. Like, if you understand this reference, bonus points for you. And essentially, if you have like knowledge of the future, like you know, we can like, there's also like a physical component to determinism. Like there is physics that like observe and argue for determinism, in the sense that they say, oh, you see, there are physical rules and all particles follow these base rules and everything else arises from that. So like in that sense you could say it's like a dice throw or like roulette, where like if you knew all of the conditions, you could truly predict the future. Like, maybe you've heard of Laplace's demon. That is essentially this idea, that if you had an entity that could know all the information in the universe, then they could accurately predict the future. And honestly, to an extent, we already do that with the limited knowledge that we have. You know, sometimes we manipulate people. Like, sometimes we predict the behavior of people, and then we do certain things to control their actions. Like, for example, I, under no circumstances right now, do not think of a pink elephant. So, right? You know, like, of course you will immediately think of a pink elephant. And even if you know that I will say that, and if you watch the video again, there is no chance that you will be able to avoid the pink elephant, simply because it is human nature to imagine it. And knowing this will be the case does not change the outcome. And so that's like the logical basis, that things are the logical results of other things. But like, how does knowledge of the future fit into that? So, let me see how I worded it here. When a person acquires knowledge of the future, it does not mean there are multiple possible futures, or that there are split universes or timelines. Like, those are for lesser authors to rely on. Like, that is like kind of the, you know, the Marvel cop out, the oh yeah, it's a multiverse thing. Like, that is a writing convention that Marvel leans on, so they can justify like the things that they want to do. There is no logical foundation for this. Like, logically speaking, making a choice does not split the universe. There's nothing to suggest that, and like, there is no logical foundation for this. Like, logically speaking, if you know the future, or like, let me just finish reading that. When a person acquires knowledge of the future, it does not mean that there are multiple possible futures, or that there are split universes or timelines. Nor does it mean that observing the future locks that future into place. When a person knows the future, they know of events that will happen despite or because of the knowledge they acquire. The fact that they acquire knowledge of the future is already reflected in the future that they observe, because that is the future that their choices lead to with that knowledge. Since I can't see the future, I don't play the lottery. But if I could see the future, the first thing I would do is win the lottery. Like, the first thing I would see if I could see the future is me winning the lottery. And because I saw that, I would then go on and do that. So you see, knowing the future is not an opportunity to change the future. The future that you see is the future that will happen with the information that you already have. And we can observe, we can take a look at Grisha for that. Grisha knows that he will seek out the royal family and kill them, and steal the titular, you know, attack titan from them, and like the founding titan. Oh, sorry, no, wait, sorry, he had the attack titan. He steals the founding titan because he thinks that this will save his family and save his people. And he thinks that because he has seen the future. Note that knowing the future does not mean that he can change it. It is specifically because he knows the future that he will do this. And And Grisha doesn't really like this. There are parts of this that he doesn't like. So he tries to change it, right? Grisha tries to argue with the royal family, even though he knows it is pointless. And then when they refuse, he does what he needs to do to save his family. In this situation, Grisha didn't really like it, or like he didn't like parts of it, but ultimately he did what he did because he wanted the end result. So there was never really a choice for him in the matter. He wanted to, because the type of person that he is, it is the thing that he will do. And we see that in Eren too. That is what Eren talks about when he talks with Reiner and he says that they are the same. Because Reiner also knew that what he was doing is bad, but it leads to the things that he wants. So he did it. And, you know, Eren understood that, and that's why he says that they are the same. And, like, I think, like, the strongest point where we see Eren, like, acting out in ways that, like, are pointless because of who he is when he let me change the background music. It's when he encounters Ramsey, and Eren knows that he will kill this guy, right? There is no real point in saving him, because in the near future he will be the one to kill him. But Eren is not somebody that can just stand by and do nothing, right? And watch how a kid gets beaten to death. So he does what is in his nature, what is like his personality. He intervenes and saves Ramsey, even though it is completely pointless. And that is also like why he does the rumbling. There are parts of the rumbling that he doesn't like. But ultimately it leads to the result that he desires, and that is why he does what he does. Let me just quickly skip through my notes and see if I have like anything else here. This is kind of a personal example, and I think it might sound a little bit silly, but I used to have a cat. And she lived with me for 22 years, and then she died this year. It's very sad. And one thing I would love to do for like these 22 years was rubbing her belly. And if you like have a cat, or if you know what cats are like, they really dislike when you rub their bellies. So going into this, I basically had knowledge of the future. I knew that when I like turn Lucy on her back and start rubbing her belly, she would bite me, and it would be very painful. But that did not deter me from rubbing her belly, because ultimately rubbing her belly and like teasing her and making her a little bit angry is what I wanted. It's the future that I desired. And knowing this future did not stop me from desiring it. It's quite the opposite. Knowing this result is exactly what led me to behave in this way. And it's the same with my girlfriend. You know, she has this beauty mark on her chin, and she hates when I kiss that spot. She absolutely, like, she hates it. And it's so cute when she gets angry about this. So I kiss this spot a lot. You know, and I know that she will get mad at me, but knowing the future does not deter me from seeking the future. It is specifically because I know this outcome that I do this. Because I'm a little bit of a bully, and I just have to bully the things that I love. And yeah. I hope you found this compelling. And if you didn't find it compelling, well, then it wasn't really your like choice to make anyways. You were predetermined to not think this argument is very compelling.